What's going on? What's going on? You got the almighty DJ CJ Flash back with a brand new live episode of I Remember That Song. Here to tell you all about it is the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Jerry Dub.
Mr. Jerry Dub, indeed. Dominant someone is CJ Flash. How are you, brother?
Fantastic, brother. How you?
I'm fantastic, but I'm trying to get better. You know, it's still hot out here in Bay Point, so I got on a little summer shirt. I know it's the end of September, but I'm gonna make it work.
Okay, all right.
I didn't get to wear it when I went on a cruise this summer. I didn't get to put it on for whatever reason.
Is that like a cruise shirt?
It is, because you're supposed to wear it without a t-shirt, and so I didn't want to do that on the cruise, and I don't want to do it
on the show either. Yeah,
I just do it around the house, you know, for me and the wife. You know. Oh, we're live right now, right? Oh,
yes, we are.
Okay, my bad. Never mind. Never mind. So look, man, it's good to see you again. It's a Tuesday. It's a 7:05 Pacific. That means it's time for IRTS Live. We are back here every Tuesday. Me and my friends sit around, talk about music and what it means to us. As this man said, I'm Jerry Dub, and that's CJ Flash. And here comes the rest of the team. There's Big Russ. There's D Minor. And there is Ryan Nicole. What's up, everybody?
What up?
What's going on? What's going on? What's going on?
Jerry, either we didn't get the memo that we were still wearing summer colors, or you didn't get the memo that we were all rocking black.
Oh, you know what? I didn't get that memo. Y'all don't live out here where I live. So if you lived out here where I live, you'd be wearing summer colors. Yeah. Trust me. This is not San Francisco weather out here.
I know me and D Minor over here in the cold. Huh,
okay. All right.
Yeah,
the fog rolled into San Francisco about 3 o'clock.
Right.
That's right.
It came in around 3 o'clock. It was like, woohoo.
Yeah.
I miss those days when I was working out there. I used to love that, man, because I prefer to wear layers. And when I would be taking BART and coming back from BART, you know, going into the East Bay like I do, and everybody looking at me, why's this guy got on a coat or turtleneck? Middle of July. So I work in the city. So
you got the Lenny Kravitz blanket thing, blanket shawl.
I'm trying to shove it in my briefcase so people don't see I'm carrying it, but it's different out there, man. So, but we are all
what
here.
What color is that?
This is a nice.
I don't recognize that from the Crayola 64.
It's autumn sunrise.
Orlando, you like it? It's autumn sunrise.
I believe it's called orange. I don't know. It's just orange. Not that fancy. It's just orange with some gold going through it.
It's not that deep.
Anyway,
what you do to your hair?
Oh, Jerry, you knew you weren't gonna live that down, right?
I know it. But again, do I look like I'm concerned?
I know you don't care. I know you don't.
I'm about to take the T-shirt off and let y'all see it.
He is secure. He is wearing a sheer autumn sunrise button-down shirt.
Okay.
You heard what he said. He already threatened to take his T-shirt off.
Right.
No.
Nipplegate.
Thank you. That stopped him, didn't it? That stopped it. All right, well, look, before he runs away, maybe we'll better bring our guest on before he logs out real quick. You know, just in case he's having second thoughts about it. You know, tonight we have a great guest. This gentleman here, right there, David Garibaldi. He was voted the 46th greatest drummer of all time. Of all time. He was a long-time member of Tower of Power and co-wrote some of their big hits like What Is Hip, Down to the Nightclub, and Oakland Stroke, and a whole lot more. So many hits by this group, so much more to talk about with our guests. Let us bring in DG. We'll call him DG from now on, Mr. David Garibaldi. How you doing, sir?
You guys are entertaining. You guys got a thing going over there.
Don't let them drag you. See, what's happened in the past is some of our guests will watch this little banter that we have and think they're going to join right in.
Yeah, get in there, DJ.
Don't get no digs in on me, please.
He's already with us. He's wearing black. He's already with us.
I got the memo. I
He's on the dark side. All right, Jerry.
So you know what I'm talking about, though. You live out in Livermore, so you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah. We don't have the fog out here.
No. At no time of the year, right?
That's true.
Sometimes wintertime.
You get a little of that Tule fog out in the winter?
Yeah, we get that valley fog and stuff.
Yeah.
It snows in Livermore.
So, well, sometimes close to Mount Diablo it can, and the hills around the city. Yeah, sure. Okay. We can do that.
All right. All right. So, we're already talking about the weather and we just starting the show. That's not a good sign. So let's stop talking about the weather and start talking about you, my man. So look, we really appreciate you being here. I want to shout out Tony Lindsay, who is once again put up a name that we should contact. And you said thank you. And here, let me tell y'all folks, I contacted DG about a month and a half ago.
Mm-hmm.
And texted him in the daytime. He hit me back later on that day, said, hey, I'm at the airport. We're about to go to Italy. We'll be back in about a month. Hit me back and I will do it. And I hit him back and here he is.
Wow. Man of his word.
Could go to Italy and forget all about us, but he was right there. So
I forgot about a lot of stuff when I was there, I'll tell you.
Oh, I bet you did. You have a good time there, huh?
Excellent, man. We stayed with our family. My wife's from there, so
Okay.
we stay with her sister, and it's like home to us. And it's really cool. We went down to the south of Italy to the beach and all that, and we went where Italian people go, not the tourists from northern part of Europe. So it's really cool. Great.
Do you speak Italian?
Enough to get myself in trouble. I can say all the bad words. I can say shit and stuff like that.
I think shit kind of works in any country, doesn't it?
It does.
It's a universal word. Yes.
So where should we go in Italy that's non-tourist?
Well, you go down to the south because everybody goes to the big cities, Florence and Rome and all those, Milano and all those places. But you go to the south, like we went to Abruzzo, and that's on the Adriatic. And it's beautiful down there. Really nice people. The food's fantastic. And the water is really warm. It's not Caribbean kind of warm, but it's very warm and very pleasant. So, but it was hot. It was like a humid blowtorch.
Wow.
Incredibly hot.
Wow.
Okay, scratching that off. Sorry, I can't do that.
What was the hottest? How hot did it get?
We're back to the weather. Here we go.
It was high 90s. High 90s.
But high 90s humidity is crazy.
But that's when you go in the water. That's when you go there and you get in that beautiful water and just enjoy yourself. It's great.
I thought they were off season for us. I thought Europe was off season. Like if it's,
no,
not
in the summertime.
Okay.
August is where the whole country kind of goes on vacation.
Yeah.
They have a holiday there called Ferragosto, and it's a big deal, so everything shuts down pretty much. August, everybody's out, hanging out and relaxing.
I love that.
We were in Sicily
Yeah.
in May, June, sometime back then.
Yeah,
and I didn't know that they had, like in Spain, you hear about siesta, but in Sicily, they shut down at. And so what is that called in Italy where they shut down from like
I don't know what they call it, but
1 o'clock, 3 o'clock?
It's like for lunch. Lunch is the big meal. So the stores close in the afternoon and then they open up later in the afternoon. You saw that. The big cities don't do that. The small communities, a lot of them do. Because that's tradition.
A lot of moms do that also. It's called wine o'clock.
Exactly.
As the drummer would say, boom, boom.
Yes, exactly.
I was in Jamaica and they shut it down. They shut down everything in Jamaica for like 2 hours in the middle of the day. The water. I mean, you have to time your showers to make sure you don't.
They turn the water off.
They turn the water off and everything.
Wow.
And
that
being
sounds like a bill situation.
That's a bill pay thing.
Being the ugly American, you're going down there like, where's my water? What the hell? Hey, don't worry, man. Don't worry. So anyway. All right, no more talk about weather, okay?
Okay. All right.
The only time we say something hot is when we talk about my shirt, dog. That's all we don't talk about. Ryan Nicole, you want to do your thing and welcome the folks?
Yes, I will welcome the people to the show. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are on the globe. You're with us at IRTS Live. So glad to have you here with us, whether you are joining us through Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, X, formerly known as Twitter, or some other site, maybe soultvwatch.com. We are just glad to have you. We are really, really glad to have you here with us, joining us today as we have a new guest, DG David Garibaldi. So you guys know what to do. We always have a few rules of operation. If you could subscribe, depending on where you are, right? Let us know your name in the chat, and please tell us where you are from, and then finally share with a friend. Like, subscribe, name, location, share with a homie. All right.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. All right. So David, I'm going to go back and forth with David and DG, so pardon me, but I got to talk about your airports background. My dad was in the airports many, many years, so I'm a very proud airports brat. And I know in your bio it says that you were not only in the airports, but you were with the airports band.
I was.
Oh, wow.
Talk about that, bro. Talk about that.
It was an Air Force field band. It wasn't one of the, the big headquarters bands or anything like that. It was an Air Force field band. They had really nice band program at the time. And so it was, all these young guys. It was during the Vietnam time. So a lot of people were getting drafted and going in the military. So to avoid the draft, I enlisted in the Air Force and ended up in the band. And it was a great situation. I learned a lot. There was a lot of really terrific players from all over the place, all these young guys. And then I got involved also in the local community. So I was playing out, with the local people that I was meeting. And it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed myself,
So you obviously had a music background before you joined the Air Force, obviously in high school and all like that?
Yeah, I started playing when I was 10 years old. I started kind of when I was 8 I wanted to play trumpet, but when, you're in school band and the teacher comes around and he says, who wants to play these instruments? And so I said I wanted to play trumpet. And by the time they got to me, the trumpets were gone. So they gave me a freaking violin. And I'm going, no, we're not doing this.
No,
So, yeah, right. So a couple of years later, I decided that, for some reason, I wanted to play drums. My parents listened to records at home, and I liked all the drum sounds and all that. So I started playing the drums and stayed with it,
Now, did your parents get you a drum set, or did you
No, I was in school, school band program, which was marching band and concert band and those kind of things, and, learning basic things, and continued in high school and then started playing in bands, in school, on the outside. And I think when I was 15 years old was my first time playing a drum set. There was a kid sitting in the band room. He's playing all these beats and this stuff. And I'm going, wow, this is pretty cool. I'd never seen it up close before. And so he leaves the room and I sat down and I started playing a little bit, and I could do some of the things that he was doing. I was shocked, So it just continued, there, and music has been a huge part of my life.
Wow.
Did you ever get around to playing that trumpet?
Never did, but I love trumpet players. When I was with the Tower guys, those guys, they were some serious trumpet head people, and so I always liked to hang with them because they were really hardcore. They like to practice and all this other stuff and say stupid stuff to each other and all that type of stuff. I won't use the other word, you know what I mean?
Just say it in Italian. You're fine.
Exactly.
This shit. Universal language. Hey, so we a month or so ago we had another recommendation from Tony Lindsay on another great drummer, Dennis Chambers, was on, and so I was like that, and we had John Paris on from Earth, Wind and Fire. He's been on with us too. So we've had a few you drummers on. So
those are my friends there. Those are good
that's
guys.
good. I'm glad to hear that, because that would have been awkward if I had brought it up. And can't stand it. But I want to ask you something I did not ask them. Now, I don't know if you're a sportsman or not, but I was talking to CJ, and I was thinking that a drummer is kind of like a catcher in a baseball game because everybody is in front of you. So are you kind of like the leader? Are the drummers ever the music director, or is it always
the drums are responsible for kind of everything that goes on in the band in terms of selling the music. I mean, if you think about it, if the drummer's bad, the band is bad. You can have players in the band who are really good, great singer, but if the drummer's not happening, the music's not happening. So, drums have a lot of responsibility, in terms of keeping things in the right space all the time, tempos, emotion, that kind of stuff, So the drummers got a big spot, a big responsibility in the ensemble.
I agree. I also feel like drummers set the tone in terms of obviously the volume and the texture of the show. As a vocalist, if I have a drummer who is heavy-handed, heavy-footed, I really can't do my job as well as I'd like to do my job. And I love a really good deft drummer who understands, like, you know, sometimes we got to take that down. I don't have to do as much. I'm not the lead person in this moment.
I was taught to, you know, to let the music tell you what to do, you know, so all my teachers, you know, told me about that. You know, the music will always tell you what to play. It'll tell you what volume to play. It'll tell you everything that's going on. And so, you know, just like any conversation, you know, the key component of the conversation is listening. And so, you know, if you're a listener, you're going to have really great musical interaction with, you know, your bandmates.
So CJ Flash, you're the 46th best drummer. CJ Flash is the 47th best drummer.
I saw it on the list.
Not even close.
He's on the list.
Not even close.
You look really close right there, next to to be continued.
You missing a couple of zeros, like maybe 5 or 6, so 4700000.
But I have a question for you though about drumming. So probably maybe 20 years ago, maybe a little earlier than that, you started to notice that drummers would have a plastic screen around that. Is that the drummer's choice or is that the lead singer's choice?
Good question.
I think it depends on the situation you're in. You know, those you know, barriers were to keep the sound from leaking through into all the other microphones and all of that stuff. So it kind of depends on the situation you're in, whether you have those things or not. You know, Tower, we never used those things. We were like just full on, you know, boom, you know, crazy, you know. But
I mean, was it hard for you because you have horns, you have the horn section, and of course the lead vocalist, and then of course you're such a factor. Everything flowed. Yeah,
because we listen. You know, like the band is really great team. You know, of great musicians. We know how to play together. You know, we kind of own our groove. You know.
Yeah.
And so, you know, when you do that, everybody's in the same spot all the time, you know.
Now, I got a couple of a video here. It's a couple minutes long. Just watch you do your work. You guys want to see this?
Absolutely. Are you kidding?
3, 2, 1. Here we go.
Uh-oh.
Oh, wrong one. Doggone it. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. Here we go. I tell you what,
Ooh-wee.
I love me some Tower Power, man.
Whoa.
I love me some Tower Power.
Oh,
Very,
hey.
very
All right.
fluid paradiddles. Very, very
All right,
fluid.
so we all got thoughts on that. Let me get in here first. You look like you were just doing it so easy, man. Just so easy, because you always see these drummers that are all over the place, and you're just doing it like this, you know. And so,
Well, I mean, I was taught, to use economy of motion.
mhm.
You just keep things contained in a small space. It's like martial arts, the 3-inch punch, that kind of thing. So you just stay relaxed, listen,
Mhm.
drive the bus.
Mhm.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah,
Oh,
that you definitely were doing. That was a little compilation of songs there with Tower Power. But what else, folks? Go ahead, jump in.
Yeah, I what I got from that is just, man, you were definitely in control. You were controlling that environment, and I loved it. I mean, it was very relaxed, but the fact that you were able to switch and go right into the next song, man, a lot
Well,
of
that is kind of like a Tower thing, like we would do all these medleys, and so there were certain songs we wanted to play, and we didn't have time in the set list to do everything, so we would just do medleys, and then we would, kind of make them as musical as we could with cool segues and all these other things, and it worked really cool, so it was always fun to do that.
Excuse me, Mr. Garibaldi. I have a bone to pick.
Uh-oh.
There's so many songs that you have. I will tell you this: as a DJ, there's a Tower Power song that we love that you guys never play live. Rock Baby. You never ever play it live. Why is that not in the set? It's such a dope song.
I don't know why we never did that one, and I agree with you. That was a cool one. We never did. We did that with, I think, McKinley Jackson. I think he produced that stuff.
That was a great song, and so just this. I mean, the show doesn't miss anything except for me, but
me.
it's just what. Yeah, okay, yeah, and Damien, because it's just one of those jam, as we say on this show, a jam. And
it was a jam.
Yeah,
yes, sir.
Never play it.
Yeah, we never did that one really live. Other ones, but not that one. Sorry.
You could pick from so many. What I got from that video is all the polyrhythms. So I think next to the piano, drumming is one of my most, it's the instrument that fascinates me the most, because it's really the matter of like, rubbing your belly and tapping your head and running at the same time. I'm so fascinated by that. And so I ask every drummer, how do you manage doing that activity alone, and then above and beyond that, managing the polyrhythms within that?
Well, I loved big band music. When I was, growing up, I liked Count Basie and all that stuff. I idolized Sonny Payne. I went to see him play with Basie here in the Bay Area, here in San Francisco when I was a kid. And I loved all that stuff, but I also loved the beats and the funk and all that, the Bay Area, Oakland, all that. So with Tower, I just think about it like I'm playing in a big band, but it's 16th notes. I play the arrangements. I compose parts to, that make the arrangements work. And, there's two things in the music. There's orchestration, where it's just composed parts. You play the same kind of parts most of the time that fit with that section, or it's improvised. And so there's a part of that has a blend of those things. It's mostly orchestrated music, but the improvisation part comes in some of the turnarounds and different things like that. In our band, the rhythm section or parts was a really big deal. Everybody understood their role in the ensemble. It's just not a free-for-all sort of jam. Everybody had parts and kind of a design when they played the songs, a spot that they were supposed to be in, and had the discipline, like to do that. So that was part of our thing, is everyone had a role. Playing with Rocco for all those years was pretty amazing. And then Mark, who took Rocco's place after Rocco, passed and all that stuff. I mean, another killer player, man.
Right on.
Okay, we're going to get into
paradiddle. What did you call it?
Paradiddles. Yeah,
What
they're
is that?
paradiddles. It was the stroke that he was playing. Certain
Well, it
kinds.
was a similar to it, but so paradiddle is a rudiment, right, left, right, left, left, left.
Mhm.
And so it was just variations of that, kind of like you kind of create a little thread, and then it's kind of improvised, but you stay in playing a part, and so you comfortable enough that you can improvise a little bit and still keep the flow going.
So much math. That's what it is. I love it because my son is 10 years old, and I bought him a little drum set, of course, the kind that you could just play in your cans, because I can't deal with the noise in the house.
But it's not gonna last long, I'll tell you right now. If he keeps playing.
I already know. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna have to outfit this garage. But what I know for him is that he's learning measures at the moment, and there's so much opportunity in those 4 beats.
Yeah.
And what you're talking about, that right, left, 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 right, left, so on and so forth. There's so much that you've exploited in those paradiddles that CJ talks about.
Well, it's a basic part. It's a basic part. It sounds like there's a lot of stuff going on, but it's a basic part. If you were to listen to it again, there's a thread and a theme that goes through the whole thing. And because I'm playing on that bell, it kind of breaks it up a little bit more. So it kind of gives it a little bit of Latin flavor, that kind of thing. But still, it's a thread. It's the same kind of part. You change little things as the things go by. You put a note in a different place. Maybe play this note softer, so it's this kind of flow thing that's happening,
I love it.
I read that you learned about a King Kong beat.
Oh, the King Kong beat.
The King Kong beat.
Yeah, there was some of that in there.
Yeah. Tell us what the King Kong beat is.
Well, the King Kong beat, there was this band called Redbone. They were from Los
Come and
Angeles.
get your love.
Yeah.
Come and get your love. Right. Okay. But in the beginning, they had this song called The Prehistoric Rhythm with the King Kong beat. And the prehistoric rhythm was this King Kong, that rhythm that I was playing on what you just heard. And so their drummer, I heard him do that. And I'm going, wait a minute. This is really great. So I just kind of took that idea and ran with it and sort of, just made up a bunch of things. I was kind of in the evolution of my playing anyway, where I wanted to do things like that. I was kind of looking for ways to kind of break my playing up a lot. So that's where I went, the King Kong beat.
Mm-hmm. We're going to get to some more music in a minute, but I got one more question for you, maybe 2. Is there all the different things that you were talking about, the paradigms or whatever you guys were talking about, is there anything else? What is it?
Diddle.
Paradiddles?
Come on, Jerry.
You're just making that up. You're making it up.
I'm not making it up.
No, man.
A paradiddle. Okay. All right. But you're number 46. What do I know? but is there any other thing that you can do to train yourself to, like Ryan was saying, to think with 4 different parts of your head? Is there anything else you can do to train your brain to be able to do that? Because it's got to be a. I mean, like.
Well, Jerry's asking, can you walk and chew gum at the same time?
I can do.
What I'm asking, can you walk, chew gum, flip coins, and all at the same time?
Well, the drums, it's like it's a 4-way, coordination.
Yeah.
So there's all your limbs are involved and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Did you have to work at actually doing all those kind of things, and then on top of that, singing?
Right.
I don't sing. You don't want to hear me sing. You do not want to hear me sing. And so playing, I just spent hours and hours and hours practicing. I wanted to become a certain type of player. So that was my dream. I wanted to become a certain kind of player. So I just sold out to that and, worked at it. When I was 17 years old, I kind of got this picture of this drummer that I wanted to be, but I couldn't do any of it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just kept working. And then, thank God I was able to become a member of the Tower of Power, that was like my university, like my school. I learned so much there, and had freedom. I mean, incredible freedom. Nobody was telling us what to do. No one. We're only telling ourselves what to do.
Yeah.
And so, that was such a great experience, to do that. You have a creative experience like that, because if creating is where you really learn things about yourself, where the lessons that you learn really are really learned.
Right.
You know,
I agree.
you create with them. You know. Just because you go to school, have a college degree, doesn't mean that you're going to be able to get a gig or anything like that. You have to have creative ways to put your life together, and so that you can work, especially if you're in the music thing. If you're, you know, an artist, then you have to really know what you want to do and really be sold out to your vision for yourself. You know, I might always tell my students, you know, the first thing that we do when we work together, I say, well, what do you want to do? And when you tell me, think about it. What turns you on about this? Because that's the thing, that's your path right there, whatever that is.
Hey, you're watching IRTS Live tonight. We're getting knowledge dropped on us like paradiddles, syncopation, all kinds of different things by our guest, Mr. David Garibaldi. We call him DG right here on the show because we old friends for 37 minutes. And the whole crew is here, and we're going to play some music that he's been a big part of for many, many years. Tower Power. CJ Flash, are you ready to go?
Always ready.
Drop one on me there. Come on. There you go, Russ. Now you happy, Russ?
I'm very happy. I love that song.
I haven't heard that one in a long time. That's cool.
Shout out to Michael Jeffries. He did that one.
Michael Jeffries, yes, sir.
Yeah,
Man, love that song, man. And it gets a great reaction when we play it. We play a lot of festivals and a lot of big concerts, and you know, to see people really vibing, like 12,000 people just vibing off of that song, it's very, very gratifying.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, it's a very cool song. Except when you go to a Tower Power show, then you don't hear it.
Yeah. Russ and I, Russ and I, we just come out with a sad face and just even the horns can't even get us up.
Yeah, we just leave the show, get in our car, and put in a cassette, listen to it in the car. Holding a lighter up in our car.
This is rough. Jerry, help me, man. This is rough.
I know. They're leaning on you, DJ.
Welcome to my world, DJ. Welcome to my world.
At least you didn't wear an orange see-through shirt, so you're doing good.
And now the heat is off of you.
That's not going to be me. You don't have to worry about. Jerry got that one.
Thank you very much. Hey, Rick Alexander said to tell you hello.
My man.
Rick Alexander. Whoa.
That is. Rick.
Let's talk about some other folks that are in the chat with us here. The Funky Cosmic Girls. She likes soul with a capital S. We're going to get to a lot of different songs in a little bit. Kim Batiste is with us every Tuesday. That's our girl there, along with Gina Emerson, who's here with us every Tuesday. Jeff Sanders is here with us. Tracy Lawrence is here. These are all the regular folks that are with us every week. We got a whole bunch more of you out there. Cool. Like Ryan said earlier, drop your name, drop your city, and let us know that you're watching and enjoying the show with DG and Tower Power. CJ Flash.
Yes.
You're up again, sir.
Yes, they do. We drop as a skunk. Drop as a skunk. We drop as a skunk. Drop as a skunk.
I don't don't know when I heard that one the last time.
CJ talked to him because CJ insisted he was going to play that one for you. Go ahead, talk to him,
I
Flash.
really wanted to start the show off with that, but you guys got to talking about Rock Baby, and so that was more apropos. But that song and that song off of that East Bay Grease album, that's a record. I didn't steal many of my father's records, but I stole this one. I became a DJ partly because he would not let me touch any of his records, but I caught him slipping one day. I got this album, and Gene Amon's album, and a JB's album, Past the Peas. But this album was it, and that was my pick off of that album.
That was our first recording.
Yeah.
Really?
Okay.
So I joined the band July 23rd, 1970.
Wow.
And they had this record deal. I joined the band got in the band because the producer didn't like the drummer. The drummer was Emilio's brother, Jack. Yeah. And so he made him change the drummer. And they had won a battle of the bands at the Fillmore. The Fillmore used to have these Tuesday night things called Sounds of the City. And the Tower won a record deal on San Francisco Records, Bill Graham's label. And that was the first recording. So I joined in July. We started recording immediately, September, I think. And then November, it was out. I mean, when does that happen, these things? So it was, immediate. We were like a jam band, in those days. That was that's what we were doing.
Yeah, but you guys,
anything yet.
you had clearly nailed so much of your universe, though, in terms of the sound, in terms of the approach to the music, in terms of the aesthetic of like your artwork, like coming straight out the gate. You guys had an identity that was distinctive.
Well, when I went to hear them for the first time, they were like 18 years old, and it was at the Keystone Corner in San Francisco, over there on Vallejo Street.
Keystone Corner, wow.
Keystone Corner. So when I went in to hear them, they were doing like original songs, and really obscure cover songs, and they were doing all this thing. They were arranging them in their own way. They already had their own kind of vibe going on. They had these two singers, Rufus Miller and Rick Stevens, but they wouldn't sing together. So they would sing different songs, but the band was killing. I mean, even then, they're 18 years old. They're just young dudes, and had an identity already.
Wow. Nice.
And you were only like 18 or 19 too, Mike.
I was 23. I had just gotten out of the military.
Okay.
And I met those guys. I was playing in Oakland at this place called the On Broadway down there at Jack London Square.
Yeah.
And we used to play there, Monday and Tuesday nights.
Third and Broadway.
And all kind of people used to come and sit in and all this. And so that's where a couple of Tower guys came in and said, "Hey, we're looking for a drummer. Would you want to come in and check us out?" So that's how I met those guys.
Nice.
Wow. So even Milio's brother didn't have clout because of his brother being the leader, and he gets relieved of his duty.
Well, that was a really difficult thing for him to do. He says he did that, he wouldn't have to worry about doing it with anybody else, because it was his brother,
Right.
Yeah. But they didn't want to stand in the way of the band's success. Jack was pretty cool. That's the Mimi's brother. He was pretty cool about that, and he went on to have a successful career, and doing other things, and still played music and all that, But so when I met those guys, Mike Clark, who was the original drummer, or with Herbie's band, not the original drummer, but in the Headhunters.
Yeah, that's right.
I met him right after I got out of the military. He's one of the first guys I met, and this is even before we had our gigs, and we were subbing for this drummer in that club. And those guys came in on a night that I was playing. And so it went like that,
Wow.
Kismet. I love it.
All right, dumb question. All right, so you're 23, you're coming out of the Air Force band. You really only been playing drums about 7 or 8 years. So did you always want to play like R&B, like soul, like funk music? Was that always in your
Well, when I got out of high
Paradiddle?
school.
I'm gonna use it all night long. It's all night
There.
long, folks.
Call me
Paradigm.
Perry. Call
Paradigm.
me Perry. That's good. So,
Sorry.
what are we talking about? Okay, so I got out of high school. Right after I got out of high school, I was playing in a local band here, and the guy said, have you ever seen James Brown?
Yeah.
And James Brown at the time, this is like mid 60s, 65, 66. He was in town here. He was in the area all the time, played the Cow Palace, San Jose Civic Auditorium, Oakland Auditorium. I mean, he was like playing all the big venues on the radio all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And so he was playing in San Jose. So we went down there to see the show.
Mm-hmm.
We go in the afternoon and we go open the front door and it's open. We walk in, San Jose Civic Auditorium, and they're rehearsing. The James Brown band is having a rehearsal.
Mm-hmm.
So me and my old buddies, we walk up to the stage.
Wow.
And they didn't say anything to us. They let us stay there and hang out and watch them. And I'd never, ever seen anything like that in my life. It was the same band that was on Live at the Apollo.
Wow.
You're familiar with that great recording, So
Of course.
it was those same guys, and man, they just killed me. I mean, right then I knew that was the kind of music that I wanted to play, and I didn't know how that was going to happen, but that's what I wanted to do. That was my path right there.
Wow.
I wanted to be like that.
Yeah.
Well, James' longtime drummer Clyde Stubblefield,
Yes,
the
sir.
legendary Clyde, he said that you're his favorite drummer. That's what I read. So,
Well,
how about
he's very kind. If you're ever listening to I Got the Feeling,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
that's 1968.
Mm.
1968.
Mhm.
And the vocabulary that he uses in this song is like guys are still trying to play that way today. I mean, this brother was from the future. I'm not kidding. And he came and he brought something, incredible thing to us, some kind of alien visitation. I told him that. And so you listen to that recording and it's so amazing. And it's 1968. It sounds relevant. It sounds fresh today. It's just like you're listening to, to Elvin Jones or Max Roach or Tony Williams, guys like that, who made a really big impact in their music.
Yeah.
So this is like Clyde's footprint is all over contemporary music today. Him and Jabba, the two drummers that played together with James, especially Clyde, because he invented lots of great stuff that we all still use, that whole concept of beats. The first one I think was Cold Sweat, the one that was at 1967, something like that. I was in the military. I'm sitting in the base cafeteria, and they had a jukebox in there in the days when there were jukeboxes. And this comes on.
Mm-hmm.
I was stunned.
Yeah.
I just couldn't believe what I was hearing. This great, cool funk beat and all. I mean, it was just great, And so turned out, Clyde, I eventually met him. We became friends. And even in his passing, I did an article and a transcription of that song for, I think it was Percussive Art Society magazine, one of those things, as a tribute to him. But what a gentle man he was, just a cool guy, and what a player, man. Wow.
It's beautiful.
Well, he loved you, so that's got to be great. That's a great compliment right there, man. So let's hear some more of that music, CJ Flash.
You got your box on, you walking out that door. Said you won't be around and see me no more. They'll be preaching that you put that hurt on me. But on the real side, we shall see. Talk that trash down there. That's just all right with me. Every game of jive and bang. Trying to tell you that for modern crime. But don't doubt what it's your way today.
Knock yourself out from that East Bay Grease album. Again, that's
Rufus Miller and Skip Mesquite, the saxophone player, they were roommates at the time. When I first met them, they lived at some crazy little apartment in Oakland. And they're making their music and all of that, you know.
Can I if I may ask, we know the horns is such a big personality in TOP. We understand that, and then the singers, of course, like Rufus, like Rick, and Edward, and Mike, and of course Lenny. But would you say musically that the band kind of evolved around you when it came to certain sounds and maybe arrangements and things like that?
Well, we would build arrangements around beats. We would do that. You listen to On the Serious Side or Oakland Stroke or any of those kind of things, you know. I'd come up with these crazy beats and we'd build music around these things, you know. So the rhythm section was kind of the fabric of the rhythm was a really big part of our music, you know, and continues to be.
Well, at what point did you feel like, because you talk about, you know, wanting to achieve a certain goal of being a certain kind of drummer. At what point did you feel like you arrived at that moment? Because everything I hear from you is sublime and so definitive. But I'm just curious, when did you feel like, oh yeah, okay, I'm in the pocket now. I'm that guy. Never.
I'm sorry about that, but no, never. I mean, I'm still trying to get there. I mean, you know, the picture that I had of myself when I was 17 years old, I'm still trying to make that happen, you know. So, I mean, there's so much to learn. I mean, there's so many great players out there. There's so much great music. There's so much art left in the tank, you know, to create, you know. I don't think, I mean, if you think you've arrived, then your shit is old. I'm going to tell you right now.
That's right.
Okay, nice. That's good knowledge. Good knowledge. CJ Flash, keep it going. Keep it going.
I got one for you.
When God made you, He had a lot to do. In a day or two, you were my dreams come true. So searching out.
Rick Stevens. Yeah.
I don't recall any other song from Tower of Power with a flute in it. Is that one of the few, or is that the only one?
That's one of the few. I mean, at the time, you know, that was kind of a big deal. You know?
Yeah. Who that we talked to that was all about the flute? It was Michael Cooper from Confunction.
Yeah.
He learned it from the Daz Band.
Brick.
From Brick.
But the flute. And the flute was a big deal.
Jimmy
Brown's dad.
Yeah, Jimmy Brown.
Yeah.
Jimmy Brown.
Yeah, and they also were talking about what's the woman's name? Oh, she's fantastic. What's her name?
Claudius?
Yeah.
Current?
No. Back in the day.
Oh
my goodness.
Bobby Humphries?
Bobby Humphries.
Bobby Humphries.
Yeah.
I'm thinking Bobby, but I didn't want to. No, I'm not going to say that. It's wrong. Bobby Humphries,
Yeah.
Does it look to you like anybody cares about being wrong? Hello, my name is Jimmy. I don't care about being wrong. Just if it's not safe. You're in a safe place. That was a totally different sound for you guys, but it's a beautiful song. It's a legendary song. Yeah. That's one of your favorites. I know you got to play that whenever you guys did a show. So
we would do that every. You know, we would kind of like resurrect a lot of songs. You know, we would do them for a while. There was a period where we had 4 different sets that we would rotate. And you know, it was all really challenging music. We would make the music as challenging as we could, you know. So we did songs where you really got to blow, and we had 4 sets like that. It was really fun, really great to do that, you know?
Did you ever pick a song that was random? You thought it was random, but as soon as you hit it, you just got this incredible reaction from the crowd. Like, why haven't we played this before?
We used to get that for all kind of stuff. I mean, people, Tower fans. I mean, they're something, man. They're knowledgeable. They know what they're listening to. They like all of it. So.
You trying to seed something over there, Russ?
Yes, he is. You already
Yeah,
know.
that's what
I heard him.
Still trying to
He's
get
waiting
Rock
on
Baby
time.
in there. Still trying to get Rock Baby.
they're rock. Yeah.
Either Rock Baby or I'll be at the back of the audience saying, Freebird!
Freebird.
We,
Hey, you what? Now let me ask you this. Now I got family on the East Coast, Maryland. They don't know as much about Tower Power as we do out here.
Oof, they're missing out.
So I know they're missing out, but are there pockets that you guys are better? I mean,
Yeah,
I want to think that you're universal.
No, there's like places in the United States where we would go that it was just like being at home. I mean, Connecticut, Hartford, Connecticut. I don't know what is with that place, man, but we would go there and it would be just like being in San Francisco or Oakland. I mean, people would just come out and go crazy, And there was other places like that, where we would go and they were just the fans. They'd come out, they loved the band, and it was cool.
Is there a place where you thought they should have been more excited or enthusiastic and they were kind of not?
New Hampshire.
LA.
LA. Well, that's LA.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Too
LA.
Too cool.
We'd be up there just doing it, and people in the audience, what's up, man? All that.
Nah, they were stealing it. That's what they were doing. God bless you. I love you, LA. I love you, LA. But
Interesting. All right, keep it going, Flash, because we want to get as many songs in as we can before we have to let this man go. So, because we don't want to hear from the folks that say you didn't play this, you didn't play that. So keep it going. Now you co-wrote that one, right?
Yeah. Well, that one, that groove, we had that one kind of, we've been fooling around with it at rehearsals for a long, long time before we actually even recorded it.
Mm-hmm.
And so we had done Back to Oakland. We did it in Seattle and at K Smith Studios downtown Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
And so I did all my tracks and I went home. Mimi and the guys, they stayed up there were doing horn overdubs and all the other stuff that had to happen. So Mimi calls me and he says, we need one more song. And we didn't have one.
Mm-hmm.
So he says, you got to come up here. We're going to have to put a song together. So on my way up there, I'm thinking, well, what about this beat? This beat might be something really cool that we could build something off of. So I brought it up there and we tried it and it worked like 10. We kind of did an arrangement, let everybody take solos and all that stuff. I remember with Rocco, Rocco was kind of a really interesting guy because when he was playing the bass, he was playing the bass. When he wasn't playing the bass, he wasn't playing the bass. He could care less. Mm-hmm. And so he had a real instinctive way that he played. So I played the beat for him. I said, Rocco, listen, where those two open hi-hat things are in the middle of the groove, don't play. And then all the rest of it, you just kind of play what you want and see what happens. Because he didn't want me to tell him how to play. And so I had to use psychology and all this other stuff to get him to play stuff with me. And so he did it. And that's kind of how that ended up. And then, of course, Lenny Pickett and Chester and all that,
Man, that's so definitive. So first of all, I'm imagining you playing, and I know that you play, the economy of movement, as you said, but that song is such cardio. Like it just feels like a workout. Were you drenched with sweat when that song is over?
I'm sorry, no.
No. I'm so cool. I'm so cool, girl.
So cool. Yeah,
This is not like, HIT training, it's not that,
Yeah.
Really, I mean, it's just something that we played, and that was it,
It sounds way more rigorous.
It
than,
really does. It really
Well,
does.
there's a lot going on,
Yeah.
tower style, so.
Yeah. And I love the way that you guys incorporated Oakland. You always brought it back home. I mean, this cover here is iconic.
Iconic.
It's iconic.
This shirt I'm wearing is my. I don't have a Tower of Power shirt, so this is my ode to that out to back to Oakland.
Nice.
Yeah, there you go.
Nice.
Yeah, that billboard, that was that was right in that spot, but the city or the Caltrans or whoever it was, they wouldn't allow it to be the same color as one of the signs, the highway signs. It was a billboard. So it had to be a different color so people wouldn't get confused and all this other stuff. I don't know why, but it was right there in that same spot. That's where the billboard was.
That's funny. Because you don't want people to use the album cover as directions. I used the Tower of Power album and I somehow
It was a real rented outdoor media billboard that they rented and put that image on there. And they also had it on at Tower Bay in Columbus. They also had it there. The huge was the 8x8 they had there too. It was so cool. Yeah.
Whose idea was that? That was a great idea.
Bruce Steinberg. He passed away, but he did all our covers, album covers, and I mean he took so many pictures of all the great San Francisco bands. He was kind of like a music photographer in San Francisco, capturing all kind of stuff. All the big events, Rolling Stones, everybody. All the huge events, Bill Graham stuff.
Michael Zagaris mentions him in his book. Another local but globally known rock photographer.
He mentions Bruce.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bruce was a cool dude.
Really he was a branding genius for real.
He was because I think he did that Doobie Brothers cover too, the one Living on the Fault Line and all that. I think he had something to do with that as well. So he was a talented guy.
Okay, let me go back and look at this East Bay Grease, because if you take a real good close look, that's the roadways all over the bay. You have to take a good look at that. And then I'm going to go ahead. We're going to just jump ahead to this album cover because, again, talking about Oakland.
Yeah.
The Raiders.
Raiders.
And then we're going to talk about this cover, too, which I heard that you had a part of this one. You played a role in that one.
Yeah.
This is based on a drawing that you did. Is that right?
Yeah, it was my friend did that drawing.
All over the Google, it says you did it, man. What's going on?
I didn't do it. I brought it to the band, but I didn't do it.
Oh, nice.
Never mind. No, I read about 3 different places that David Garibaldi was.
No, that's probably a stupid AI thing that said all that crazy stuff.
Yeah. Well, what is this supposed to mean? It's the guy's holding a chicken leg. He took a bite out of it with a lightning bolt behind it. What's going on here?
Power.
And you see it. It's like Red's Tower of Power, man.
Yeah. Power.
But
you can't hear Jimmy Jerry.
the chicken leg is so. The chicken leg is so.
The fried chicken is funky.
Okay.
Chicken is funky.
Yeah.
We'll go with that. We'll go with that.
Sure. That works for me.
All right, let's shout out some of the people that are watching us here tonight. I see Robert Vernon is out there. Becca Boo. I haven't seen that name before. Where you watching us from, girl? Roy Lamella. Robert Vernon is watching us. Gina Champion is up in Seattle. Sean King is watching. What's up, Sean? He's down in Florida. And Rufus Keaton is former member of the foundation. Is out in Turlock watching us with DG, David Garibaldi from Tower of Power. Keep that music going, Flash.
I had to compete in a country jungle. In the jungle. Had to get scratched
Haven't heard that one in a while either.
What is that? I don't know. I've ever heard that one. What's that?
Back on the
What is
streets.
that?
Back on the streets.
Back
I don't
on the
know that
streets.
one. Mm-mm.
Back on the streets again.
When I was a kid, I used to think that Tom Jones was in Tower of Power because
I can hear that.
he would mimic everything that Rick was doing, and it sounded like, okay, he must be in the band, you know.
Definitely not. He couldn't hang.
Well, Tom probably could have.
Tom Jones is bad.
You
dude,
think he
man.
would? I mean, he's an old man, but I don't
He had
know.
a couple of funky joints.
Yeah,
He's a real
Tom got a hood back.
Yeah.
He really does.
He had tours with him. I mean, he was a
Did he? Okay.
It's possible. See,
super person and great singer.
Well done.
I know. My mama and half my aunties loved him some Tom Jones.
I
that.
know. It's true. I know. All my aunties are definitely mad at that comment I just made, but I'm just saying. I don't see Tom in the Power of Power. I just don't see him.
No. I agree with you. Yeah, he did.
But you could open for him though, and that's as close as he could get though.
But I used to hear that voice as a kid, and I was like, because he would have that same tone in some of the songs that he would do. It's because he's also, as a little kid, he had a variety show.
Yeah.
So I would see him on TV all the time. So he was omnipresent. So it just was, as a kid, I guess I was just making that connection.
I hear it.
That's okay. All right. Shout out again to Jay Rizzo, Lynette Johnson, Washington's watching us. Keep it going, Flash.
It's Saturday night and I'm just hanging out, looking for a place to party. I jumped into my ride and I hit the road, 'cause there's only one place to go, down to the nightclub. Ooh, the women be ratchet, they're ready to the nightclub. We go bump city, sitting by the dance floor, checking it out, watching the man with the fast feet. Got the hippest legs and the bad boogaloo, the big old bag of tricks. Down to the nightclub, You can get what you want if you know how to find it. To the nightclub, ooh, we be slick. Ooh, the people be bumping.
At Bump City. That song was only like 2 minutes, 28 seconds long, something like that. Real short song.
It was short. Yeah, it was a short one.
You said, love that song, man. Love that song.
Now I'm looking at your face while you listen to these songs.
Yeah, I
What's
was gonna
going
say,
through your mind?
Because he's not. It looks like he's not happy, and then all of a sudden he'll hear something and he'll
No,
smile.
because I haven't listened to these things like those versions.
Mm-hmm.
Like Nightclub, we did that a bunch of times over the last few years. We would do different versions of it, and so we were always rearranging things and all that. So to hear some of these things, I mean, especially off the East Bay Grease record, I haven't listened to any of that stuff, man, forever.
Is it taking you back?
It does,
Yeah.
It does, absolutely. Makes me think of all kind of stuff,
I can see it in your face. Kim Batista says stank, says Kim Batista.
Say it in Italian, David. Say it in Italian.
No, okay.
But that was a hit. Nice and clean. Who did your production too? Because all your stuff was really clean.
Well, it depends on which record you're listening to. Like that one, the Bump City record, we did that in Memphis.
Okay.
And so Steve Cropper, who played on all of that, Stax stuff, he was going to be the producer. But he was having some sort of contract dispute with Stax. So he could not have his name on the project, but he was there at the studio every day. So his engineer, Ron Capone, he was the one whose name went on the record, but they were both there. Steve was there with us, throughout the whole production. So he was really, historic.
Yeah, he's another bad dude, man.
Yes,
green onions and
all of that.
Yeah. My dad used to love green onions. That was his jam, man. But the open on that and just your drumming on that one again. Now that we know that you're very relaxed and all like that, that's very cool. So let me ask you this about the relaxing. When you watch other guys drum, and you see them doing all this and going to all like, it's like my two DJ brothers here. When you see the DJs that are doing this and they're pretending like, and I asked them one time, what are they doing? They're not doing nothing. They're just acting like they're turning knobs and pushing buttons. So when you see that, do you just look at them like, young man?
I mean,
you're going to need those strokes one day.
It kind of depends. I mean, you know, I think about this kind of a weird kind of a way, because to me, it's just all art. And so if somebody, you know, it's art, no more, no less. You know, somebody wants to wave their arms and, you know, do all this other crazy stuff that they want to do, that's cool with me. You know, I mean, what does it sound like in the music when you close your eyes? Does it sound cool?
Right.
You know,
Right.
so they can jump around all they want and do all the stuff that they're going to do, but does it sound cool with the music? Does it make the music move?
Right. Speaking of young men, is there anybody or women that you're checking for that are new, you know, or newer, that are great drummers?
Nate Smith.
Oh my God! Oh, Nate.
Nice.
Nate is
Yes.
ridiculous. I
That,
love
you know, that cool record that he's got out, that Pocket Change record.
Yes.
That's kind of like a new take on an old concept, you know, loops and all that stuff, you know. And he's a good dude. He's really, you know, really cool guy. We had him on the Stick People podcast, you know.
Nice.
He's just cool, you know.
I love it.
Nate was here earlier this year, I think, playing with Zoe. And
they're coming back in December.
Oh my God, I can't wait.
Yeah, he gets around. I mean, you know, he's got a really great reputation. Sounds really good all the time, you know.
Yeah, I
Very
love his stuff.
Very consistent.
Yes,
I love his
yes,
stuff.
he is.
It's funny you mentioned, and I'll say this and then I'll stop talking, but you're one of the few musicians that I hear, and drummers in particular, talk about the instrumentation as beats. And that really resonates with me as an MC, as somebody who is in hip hop. You know, that's what we call our music. That's what the producers call the music, is beats. And I've heard it frowned upon before as a reduction of the orchestration that a musician is creating. And so I'm just curious about why you elect to call it beats as opposed to it is what it is.
Because it is. I mean, it's beats. I mean, you know, all the different things that I did with Tower, you know, all the different sections of songs, those are all like beats, different beats. I mean, I love the thing of beats. When I went to listen to James Brown, there wasn't a fill in 150 miles. They would just play these beats, and they would play these long ass grooves that just went on, and the time wouldn't change, and it would just create this thing, you know. And it was beats, you know. I mean, it was so hip, you know. Man, I want to do that. That's the thing I want to do. Yeah. I mean, I think it's, you know, really, I mean, it's really the foundation of all kind of, you know, contemporary music is that, you know, beats. It really is.
Indeed.
I know we have lots of music to get to, but I do have a question. Can you learn a pocket?
Yeah, sure you can.
Yeah, so you, when you first start out as a young drummer, you don't really have that. You know how some singers have perfect pitch, and that's their tool that they use. Now, I guess there are prodigies when you're young, and you know you instantly have a pocket, but a pocket can be learned.
Yes.
Okay, I wasn't sure. Never knew that. I just thought it was something inherent.
No. I mean, it's different for everybody. I mean, you know, the music that you listen to influences the way that you play time, influences the way, you know, your input influences your output.
Right.
And so, and you know, it depends on what you like, what you listen to, you know. My frame of reference was all those James Brown guys. I love all that stuff, you know, Bernard Purdy, Zig with the meters, you know, I loved all that.
Zig.
Greg with, you know, Sly, you know. And so, you know, they had a way that they played the time that I thought was really, really cool, you know, and it really made the band, it propelled the music that they were in. And so I wanted that, you know, I wanted to have that sort of vibe in what I was doing. And it's learned. It's a learned thing. You can learn that for sure.
There's some, believe it or not, I shouldn't say this to you because I'm sure you know, but heavy metal drummers, a lot of heavy metal drummers learned how to play by mimicking what the samples they heard on hip hop.
I believe that. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, it's so weird because they're playing with the triple speed kick, and you know, I don't know the real term for it. It just sounds.
It's Pandingo.
Never mind, Jerry. Never mind.
Did he say
Pandingo?
Did he say Pandingo? He did say Pandingo.
Get him. Mute him right now.
I'm running the board here.
Pandingo.
Well, Russell was searching for the word. I'm trying to be a team
I
player.
was, but I wasn't searching for that word. That wasn't it at all.
I said I'm sorry I was wrong.
I don't know what it's called when it's real speed metal. I don't know.
Oh man, that's hilarious.
But I know one thing. I know it's not Pandingo.
Okay.
You
don't know that.
I don't even know what that is.
All right, let me ask you this now. Dispel another rumor for us, if you would, because you said the time inadvertently. Did you have anything to do with the syncopation of 7779311?
Yeah, it's kind of legendary, you know.
Yeah.
Yes.
This
Is that true?
I did some programming for Roger Lynn, but that particular program, that was like somebody else was doing something there, and you know, Jellybean told me, "Oh, it's you." Morris Day told me, "Oh, it's you. No, I don't think so, and I never really was comfortable with saying that it was me. Although it's stuff I would do, that's for sure, you know, but it's what a cool program, man.
It really is.
That's there's so many rumors that it was a really slow track in like a default track in the Linn drum that Prince took it and sped it up, and then there's so many different rumors.
I think that's there's a lot to that.
Okay.
All right. But it's difficult to get, you know, really definitive answers. I would, you know, with Jellybean, I'd say, Bean, come on, tell me what happened, man. No, man, you did it, you know.
Okay.
I think the proof would be in the check. If they give you a check.
I know this, that Prince was a huge Tower Power fan.
Yeah. Okay.
Because we would go to Minneapolis, we'd play in Minneapolis, and he would come to our shows and he would sit with his little crew, and they'd sit there and they'd just dig the show. And I remember one time we played we used to do this outdoor gig in the summer at the Minneapolis Zoo. They have like an outdoor venue there.
Nice.
And I remember the first time that Prince came, he stood on the stage right behind one of the speakers, and he was a little dude, so nobody could see him pretty much. You know? And so he's standing there, he's watching us, and he's like checking me out all night, just watching the rhythm section and kind of how we interacted and all that stuff. And, you know, afterward, he came up and introduced himself to me, and I'm going, holy shit, this is Prince wants to talk to me. You know? But it was so great. You know, it was it was an honor, you know, to have somebody like that dig your music, you know, somebody so influential and so creative, you know, in what he did.
Did you go have pancakes later?
We didn't have any pancakes.
No
Play
pancakes.
basketball? You play a little basketball? Or?
No, we didn't play basketball. We had pancakes.
Did you wear a shirt like this one?
No, I wouldn't do that.
If you wore that shirt, you'd have to cleanse yourself in the waters of Lake Minnetonka.
I just set 'em up. That's what we do. I'm a team player. I'm the drummer of the show. I'm watching you all.
Oh, that's funny.
I hate to do this, y'all. I gotta run. This is such a phenomenal show, but I am.
I see all
theater
that going
after
on
all.
behind you. It's
A lot
like
of
they're like run around trying to shut down the theater behind
they're
you.
sweeping up behind you.
They really are. My feet are lifted. They're sweeping under my feet right now. So.
Well, make sure that when you get in your car, you turn them back on, because we'll be talking just a few more minutes with
Certainly
DG and have a little bit more fun. So it's good to see you, Ryan.
Brother DG, thank you for coming to the show.
It's a pleasure to meet you, and you better get out of there before they sweep you out.
I know. I'm going.
Okay.
All right.
DG, I wanted to ask, you know, while touring with TOP, and was there ever a song that you knew, like when you guys had the set and everything, and was there a song that you knew, like, okay, we about to really have a good show here? Was there ever a song that really just struck that nerve?
Yeah, there was. We used to, you know, a lot of the up-tempo stuff would be like that, but the stuff that had the most impact in the audience was the ballads. Willing to Learn, As Surely As I Stand Here, you know, that kind of stuff. Just when we start making it, you know, from the Back to Oakland record.
Oh yeah,
and so we would do those songs, and we would, they would become performance pieces, and they would really showcase the band's dynamics and ability to play, you know, musically. You know, it was just, and they're really, really fun to play. because we would add all this stuff to it. And then after a period of months and weeks, the songs would evolve and they would become performance pieces, and they were so fun to play, and the audience would be just spellbound sometimes, the way that the vibe was, it was really, really fun.
Now, I'm sorry, Mr.
No,
Dunn.
you go ahead, D.
Now I have to step away for a minute, but I did want to ask another question, and as we had talked about earlier, as far as like how you were saying how a lot of the ideas kind of came about from the rhythm side of the band. I know you had stepped away for a bit, and Ronnie Beck had stepped in and did a couple of albums with you there. How was it seeing someone like him play DG stuff?
Well, that's kind of a hard thing, to say, really. I mean, I just appreciated all the guys that were doing it. I mean, they were doing their best. They were playing the gig, and they sort of had to play some of those songs. And even though stylistically maybe they weren't there, they still had to address those songs. I mean, if you're going to play in Count Basie's band, you better be playing Count Basie music. You better be playing like Sonny Payne and, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like they were, had a lot of pressure on them to do that sort of thing. I think that a drummer that really I thought really did it well was Herman Matthews. He's subs for me a lot. Have done that over the years. He was in the band for a long time, and he's one of those kind of guys. He's like a chameleon. He can make himself sound good in a lot of different situations, and really made the band sound really good. Different than me, but that's cool. Because he made the chair his own, which I thought was the smart thing to do. You don't want to go in and copy somebody.
Right on. Okay, keep it going, Flash. Keep it going.
You said something about balance.
You're still a young man, baby. Ooh, don't waste your time. You're still a young man, baby. Ooh, don't waste your time. Down on my knees. Heart in hand, I was accused of being too young, but I'm not so young.
Yeah, that's Hubert Tubbs. Hubert just passed away.
Yeah.
Just passed away, like just a few weeks ago.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Very sorry to hear that.
That recording, that Live in Living Color, we did the In the Slot recording at the same time. So that one there we did on the weekends. And we go out and do gigs, and then the other one, In the Slot, we would do in the studio during the week.
Okay, you recorded that one in Sacramento.
That was Sacramento.
Yeah.
That we were there doing gigs, and then there was also one El Cerrito, Cerritos, California.
Yeah.
South Cerritos.
Yeah. Interesting choice of places there. You must have knew you were going to have a good live. Was it the acoustics? I mean, how did you decide you're going to do a show in Sacramento as opposed to?
I did not decide that. Honestly, I don't know how that happened. Turned out pretty good, though.
It did. It really did.
I'm really shocked you said that Los Angeles in that area is one of the cities that did not really connect with your live performance. Because when I just think about Los Angeles, I think about the Hispanic community and how they gravitated, because I know what I play and I know the reaction that I get. And it's just shocking that Southern California was not like one of those hotbed cities for you.
Well, when we would play the Hollywood Bowl, for instance, or the Greek Theater, I mean, the audiences were not crazy like they usually would get at our shows. You go, out east to Temecula, and people are dealing out there. They're just having a good time and getting loud and crazy and having fun. It's a different thing. I just thought that you play the Greek theater or the Hollywood Bowl.
I think with the bowl, and we actually are. Can't believe I'm saying this, but we've actually played those two venues before. I think that there's a disconnect at those particular two venues because there's like all the mucky mucks are up front.
Everybody's
so the energy you're getting from those industry folks up front is like they're doing a million different things, but everybody behind you, like follow the cloud of smoke. That's where everybody's vibing with you. like behind those people, that's where everybody's vibing. That's what I get when I'm especially at the bowl, because you can only see so far, and in front of you is like they're just out, like they could be anywhere.
Yeah, I said, why waste this space on these people? Put some people that are going to have some fun up here.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
That's right. I got that. Lots of lead singers with the Tower of Power. Yeah. Rick Stevens and Lenny Williams come to mind.
Hubert Tubbs.
Why would you guys go through them so quickly? And then is it hard to say who was your favorite? Who do you think clicked the most with the band, or however way you want to say it without getting yourself in any trouble with any?
I'm not worried about getting in trouble. Singers have a short shelf life because, they get this thing called lead singer disease. Most all of them get it. And so, you guys are familiar with that. And so, it's tough sometimes, with guys. They start thinking that the world revolves around them, and there's only a few of them that really can be part of an ensemble, and really realize that they're part of a team. Unfortunately,
Simple as that.
But some of the singers that Tower have had are some really, really good ones. There's a really great one. I really dug him from Memphis, Marcus Scott. This guy, man, he could just sing anything and improvise and stage presence, everything. He's a young guy, really, really, really fabulous singer. But he didn't last that long for that reason.
Is that the young dude that was on the that played the anniversary party, the anniversary show? Yeah. I thought he was cool.
Yeah, Marcus
I thought
Scott.
he was cool. Now you know what? I guess it goes both ways, because I think some lead singers is justified. Some lead singers in a group are like, for instance, Damien. So we just saw Journey.
Yeah.
So Steve Perry was like the guy. You kind of felt like he was. You didn't feel like he was Journey, but you felt like he was one of the main components of the band.
Right.
Yeah. So I think sometimes it's justified, but I get where people sometimes it's like we've had so many groups that have broken up because somebody says, "No, yeah, I think it should be IRTS featuring Russell Gatewood." Yeah.
No. I was going to say Lionel Richie, but you had to make it personal. Okay.
Well, I wanted to make a real life situation. I already got the t-shirts printed up back. So
okay. All right.
DJ, I have two questions, and just to kind of follow up right behind what Russ said and in your comment and what you were saying. Would you say, because I've heard that story before, a la Temptations, Felipe Wynn with the Spinners. I always heard he had that kind of issue, especially towards the end of his leaving. That's why John Edwards was like such a shoe-in, because they knew they had him on retainer. But two questions. Would you say that being that you guys kind of ran through a lot of lead singers in TOP was because maybe they were trying to compete with the horns? That's one question.
Or the drums.
Or the drums in this case. Yeah, or the drums too. Second question. I heard there was a story where Lenny was out the group and Edward McGee was doing this, was in the group at this time, and Lenny Williams was at a show, and he was at this show. He showed up on stage and the crowd went crazy, and I heard it pissed Eddie McGee off. Was that it? And I heard like that night he kind of like got his butt whooped by Lenny.
Well, I don't know anything about that, but Lenny was super popular with Tower Power fans. I mean, you know, any singer, you know, his voice is so distinctive, you know, it's so different that, you know, it's so good that, you know, whoever came after him, they're compared to him, no matter who it is. I mean, we heard it all the time. We heard it for 50 years, you know, oh, you know, he's not Lenny Williams, you know, that kind of thing, you know.
Yeah.
And Lenny was just a unique voice.
Yeah.
You guys know that. I mean, just one of a kind.
Yeah.
You know?
We've had him on the show too. He's funny as hell.
Yeah, he's a good dude. He's a good.
He needs to make what's the song he's got out now, Russ?
Sorry, I wasn't.
I'm sorry, I didn't know it was your mama.
Yeah. And something about your drawers, leaving your drawers in the.
Oh yeah, that one too. Yeah.
Yeah.
And would you say that some of the singers were trying to compete with you, like as a drummer and the horns, and that's why
I don't think so. You know, the singer, one singer that we had was really, really good, Larry Braggs, and Larry was a showman. You know, he could really entertain. He was really old school in the way that he could entertain and you know, interact with the audiences. Loved him and stuff. You know, but he, you know, like the rest of them, he just got the diva thing going for a bit. You know, we call him Mr. Diana Ross. But I'll say this: LB was like a fabulous musician. You know?
Yeah,
I mean, he could sing, man. He would just, the energy that he put out. You know, when we were performing, I mean, I loved it. You know,
Russell, you remember we saw him with Bob James and David Sanborn and Marcus Miller at the winery. Yeah. He came out and did a few songs to them. So
I
like
with Marcus a lot.
Yeah.
So I wonder how does, because this is a signature. There's a couple different things about Tower Power that makes them just such a unique sound, and I wonder how Doc does not have that diva type thing, because he is like the cult hero. You know, whenever Doc gets ready to do his thing, it's crazy how people react to it.
Yeah,
you know,
Doc Doc's just a hippie. You know, he's just an old hippie. You know, really.
I hope he's right from the Muppets.
He's kind of like that, you know. But, you know, he's a good dude. You know, he's a songwriter. That's his thing. He idolized songwriters when we were coming up, and you know, who's the guy that wrote "Our Day Will Come"? Bob Hilliard, I think.
Yeah,
I think that's
Our Day Will Come.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so, Mimi and Doc.
Doc wrote that?
No.
Oh,
Bob Hilliard was kind of like their songwriting idol. So when we first played, one of the first times we played in LA, we played the Whiskey a Go-Go, and they connected with him somehow. And this was like their idol, songwriting idol.
Yeah.
You know? So he was around there. I remember meeting him.
Nice. All right, CJ, we got just a few more minutes left with DG. So let's get in as many songs as we can, a little bit more conversation, and let this man get some rest tonight, because he's out in Livermore, still get the fan on and stuff, you know. So go ahead, Flash.
When you get the notion, Tower's got the potion. You might begin to set yourself in motion. I'm talking about soul vaccination.
Bum, 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 bum. Come on, man.
Come on now.
man.
Come on. It
No,
don't
Okay.
It makes you make that face. You got
Which was the one that made you say, ooh? What was that one?
Yeah.
coming out of you had to be having fun. You were like, oh.
Was there only so much
Only
oil
so
on the
much oil
ground?
on the ground.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it made
yeah.
you say, ooh.
No, I was thinking, having fun. I was thinking of Ronnie Beck.
Oh,
Wow.
Yeah.
And that
Yeah,
last
lean on
song. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yep. There's a really good one that we did on the soul side of town, or maybe it's on Step Up. It's called After Hours. It's an instrumental. CJ, you got that one?
I am going to find it in just a second. Don't tell nobody. I did.
What did you like? What did you like about that one? Why was that one so cool?
You just have to listen to it and see. It's kind of a surprise Tower Power thing.
Okay, well, our pressure's on you, CJ. You're gonna have to do something.
Yeah.
Ain't no pressure.
We got this.
Pressure.
Well, let me know when you're ready. Then let me know when you're ready.
It's like
What I
Michael
did
Jordan
wanna-
at the Garden.
What I did want to talk about though was that last song that I played, Soul Vaccination.
Mhm.
It has elements of what Fela started incorporating into his band in Nigeria. Sounds a lot like what they were morphing into. And I believe that Fela was listening to all kinds of stuff, including you guys. So you can definitely, if you really listen to the horns that Fela laid down, they're very reminiscent of Tower Power.
Yeah.
Well, that drummer that was in his band, Tony Allen. I mean, that's a bad dude, man.
Oh yeah, he was a bad dude. We just lost him last year before last.
Yeah.
Oh, he was incredible.
Nice.
Come on, After Hours. Where is it?
I'm talking here.
Oh, wait, are we still stretching?
No, I mean you can talk amongst yourselves.
No. Okay, yeah. You let me know when
I'll
you got
let you
it.
know when I'm ready. You'll
Okay.
see my hand go up like this.
What part? I want to just say real quick. I know we were talking about the lead singers and everything. One guy that I always that I appreciated, he doesn't get a lot of say, is Ellis Hall.
Ellis, man. So there was a gig we did in Canada. I think in Markham. I think it was close to Toronto. And our lead singer at the time couldn't make the gig, so Ellis did it. And so the gig turned into kind of a clinic on Tower Power music.
Wow.
So we would do a song, and Emilio, he would talk about the song. He would talk about how it was written, the inspiration for it, who were the, this kind of like what was going on at the time, with the band, when the song was written, where we recorded it. Yeah.
Sounds like he stole my show idea. What's he doing? That sounds like IRTSI.
He just didn't have the shirt on, man.
Not everybody's able, man. Not everybody's able. Please continue.
Okay, so oh man, I just ruined the whole vibe here.
No, you didn't.
No, I love it, bro. I love it, bro.
You in.
I love it.
So Ellis, Ellis being blind, and not being a regular member of the band, he came in and he's winging it with songs, and so I look over, we're doing, I think maybe it was Willing to Learn, and he's got a music stand with his lyrics in Braille, and he's singing his ass off, and he's reading the lyrics in Braille, and the audience is just their jaws. They couldn't believe what they were seeing. It was a moment in time. I mean, he sang so beautifully and so cool for the song, and then he's reading in Braille. It was a moment.
Wow.
Well, I got chills right here. Just thinking.
Oh
Yeah.
man,
Good one,
Yeah.
D minor, good one.
Yeah, I always loved Ellis Hall, and
Ellis is beautiful.
you
Yeah,
kind of it was like you got two for the price of one with him because he played keys and he could sing.
he could do a lot of things. He could play a lot of instruments and stuff. I did a gig at the NAMM show one year for the Yamaha drum night, groove night they call it, and Ellis came and sang.
Oh wow,
It was great, man.
must have been something.
Mm.
Yeah.
Wow.
All right, Flash, did you raise your hand?
Of course I did.
All right,
You
let's
didn't
go.
see it, but I did because I just didn't show you.
Let's hear After Hours.
That's some sneaky funk from back in the day, like we used to play after hours. Oh yeah.
Okay. All right. Now I'm gonna have to make sure I pull up and hear the whole song. That sounds cool.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Real cool. That was real cool.
I gotta admit, I only know this song because a band that I love seeing play live, Soul Live did a cover of that at a show at the Fillmore, believe it or not. And that's the only reason, because I get confused when the timing is not basic 4/4. I get confused, and after like it picks up. Like, what is that? I got to figure out what that is. But they did a really good job of Eric Krasno on guitar, and it was.
Oh, I would love to hear that. That's a cool band anyway. I love those guys.
Yeah, they're phenomenal. We gotta get them on the show too. They're crazy.
Yeah. Hold on, I'm typing and talking at the same time. Here we go. We just got a couple more minutes, a few more minutes with DG here, man. So we got two songs I was just sending to Flash that he's got to play for us. So I know you mentioned a podcast earlier. Let's sell some stuff here. You got podcasts, you got books, you got all kinds of things going on.
Oh, yeah.
So you're teaching and all that kind of
Yeah,
stuff.
I do all that stuff. Write books and drum books. Been doing that for a long, long time. I love doing it. It's fun. And the podcast is real cool. The Stick People.
Mm-hmm.
So the Stick People is guys that grew up here. They came up here in the Bay Area.
Mm-hmm.
Gregorico, Mike Clark, Lenny White, and Michael Shreve.
Lenny White is from the Bay Area?
No, he lived out here. He's from New York.
Okay.
And so he came out here to play with Pete Escovedo and Azteca.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And so when I first heard him, he was playing at the Keystone Corner with Chick Corea, with him and Stanley.
Mm-hmm.
Him and Stanley Clark was a Chick Corea trio. And that's where I first heard him play. And then he came out here to work. And it turned out that he liked everybody. He liked what we were doing and, fit right in. So we all became really, really great friends. We'd go to each other's gigs and hang out and all this other stuff. Then when the pandemic happened, I think Mike Clark suggested that why don't we just get together and talk? So we liked it so much, we did it for 3 days a week for the whole pandemic, and it became a podcast. So today we just released a Ron Carter episode.
What?
You should hear that.
What?
It's pretty awesome.
Ooh.
Oh.
Okay, tell us the name of it again, and where can we find out where all your podcasts?
It's called The Stick People.
The Stick People. You can hear that wherever you listen to your podcast.
Stick People. That's it.
4 drummers. Is it 3
Well,
drummers?
Mike Clark,
Uh-huh.
Gregorico, it's live.
Gregorico. Uh-huh.
Michael Shreve, Lenny
You.
White, and me.
Okay, five Stick People.
Nice.
Stick People.
Nice.
That's so cool.
It's a great
How long-
podcast. We've done all kind of really cool people. We've been doing it for a while now.
Wow.
And so Ron Carter's the latest one. And we did, it was a really good one we did with Jack DeJohnette that was really fantastic.
Jack.
Wow.
Yes.
So how do you feel? Or what are some of your favorite drummers? I don't want to ask you that. That's too simple. But
I'll tell you right now.
who's that?
I'll tell you right now, Dennis.
Dennis Chambers. Yeah,
Yeah.
Dennis was
Damn.
I know
really
Dennis.
cool.
I know Dennis for years.
Yeah.
And we became really fast friends. He was playing with John Scofield, and I was playing with a band called Wishful Thinking in LA.
Mhm.
And so we did a gig together
Mhm.
at where was it? A theater down in Hollywood.
Mhm.
And so I was familiar with John Scofield because when the Blue Matter recording was out, Gary Granger on bass and all that. And so I go to sound check, and they're finishing their sound check, and of course they're blowing up the auditorium. And so I stand right behind Dennis. I'm watching him play, and as soon as they finished, I went up to introduce myself to him. Say, well, I want to know who he was. I introduced myself to him. I put my hand out to shake his hand, and he put the drumsticks in my hand. He says, "Play the Oakland Stroke, man."
Yeah, we had him on. He was really cool, real laid back at first, and then once he got going, he was telling some great stories, man.
Oh no, he's like he's the coolest of the cool.
Yeah, he really is.
We've been friends for a long, long time, and he's just a really, really good dude, all around.
Nice. Okay, look, we only got a couple more minutes for real.
I
Gotta
do
play
have a
one
question
song.
after-
All right, well, let's do this. Let's go around the horn and say our goodbyes, and then Flash will play that last one, and we out. Okay, so go ahead, Russ. You can incorporate your question into your goodbye.
Okay, so first of all, goodbye. And now the question is, which era were you playing with Boss Skaggs, and which era were you playing with Yellow Jackets?
So the Boss Skaggs thing, that would be in the 70s. Trying to remember the exact years, but it was one of those breaks from Tower Power. I think it might have been after the first time that I left. I left 4 times, and
Yeah.
so so it was I think it was one of the earlier times,
Okay.
So yeah.
I could figure it out by the album you were playing, whatever album you're playing.
And then the Yellow Jackets, that was a Star Trek movie.
Oh,
We did a soundtrack for the Star Trek movie.
I do remember that. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, very cool. And you played with, and I'm just reading off the internet. It could be total bullshit, but you played with Buddy Rich's band?
I did. Yeah, there's a cool video of me playing with him, a song called Groovin' Hard. So, Kathy Rich, Buddy's daughter, was inviting people to come and play with the band, and so I got invited. They said you can pick any song you want in the catalog, and we'll play. So they did it at the Power Station in New York, and it was an unbelievable experience.
Mm-hmm. I'm writing all this stuff down.
I did a live show too, with the band too.
Oh,
It was
cool.
at the Manhattan Center in New York City. That was
Nice.
another really good one. They didn't do any filming on that one, but that was really unique. Billy Cobham was on it, Matt Cameron, So the guys that they liked were the ones that were the most unlikely. And so I asked them, well, who is cool in this that you really dug? And, they liked the guy from Guns N' Roses because he didn't try to play like Buddy. He just did what he did with their music.
Yeah.
And they were so cool about that. I mean, they're all badass guys, but they're so friendly, and they made it easy for you to play and have fun.
Mm-hmm. All right, Russell, while you got the floor, say let's go around the horn, and we'll start with you.
Well, I said bye already, so I'll just. It's pretty cool, man. I've seen you play. I haven't been hiding behind a speaker like Prince, but I've seen you play over the years, man. And it's always so. I watch what you do, and it's so cool what you do, and it's understated yet so powerful. Man, I'm just happy to actually just share some time with you.
That's my honor, brother.
Yeah.
It's a pleasure, man.
All right, D Minor, you're up.
Oh, I had to say, just being from the Bay Area, it's always an honor and a pleasure just to meet a hometown hero like yourself, DG. And oh man, this is such a pleasure. You're one of my favorite drummers. It's you. I say you, Zigaboo, Moselique, Jeff Picaro, Danny Serafin and Shaka Khan. You all are like in my my favorite.
You said Shaka Khan.
Yeah,
Okay.
she can play drums.
She
Shaka-
plays drums, but she plays drums. But this is David Girl. You know,
No,
it's like-
she's tough too now.
Well, she can play.
She can play, G-Dub.
she ain't in the top 46. I know that. So, I wanted to come on the show, so I'll just deny it if she hears me say
Yeah.
that. But
But it's a play. I've seen just seeing you from afar, and now just having the opportunity with my people just to be able to meet you is just.
I appreciate it, D. Thank you, man. Thank you very much. It's an honor meeting you, man. Thank you.
all right, CJ Flash.
I've gravitated to drummers since I can remember, growing up here in the Bay Area, and you've been one of them in person later, but more so on wax since the start of Tower Power. I thank you. You've given me more gems than you know. Really, you really have. Just
you,
by
man.
listening.
I appreciate it. Thank you
so much. Yes.
And I will close it all out by saying, again, thank you very much. And one more shout out to Tony Lindsay for giving me your information. Thank you so much for being a man of your word. And even after a month in Italy, coming back and remembering to do the show. I hope you've enjoyed it half as much.
It's been great, man. Are you kidding?
We've enjoyed it with you. So,
this has been cool.
So we're going to make sure that we listen to the Stick people, play After Hours. We're going to find Grooving Hard. I got all kind of notes from things that you've been saying.
Stick people with Ron Carter. You got to check it out. He's a
brilliant.
We're going to sing you an orange shirt too.
I'm going to send him this shirt. I'm going to send him this one, man. Because I'll probably never wear it again after this night. So I may as well just give it away. All right, so look, thank you guys for watching IRTS Live. We will be back next Tuesday at 7 o'clock with another show. Thank you for watching. If you really like what you see and you didn't get to catch the whole show, wait a couple of minutes. It will start all over again. Or you can go to our YouTube channel at IRTS Space Show. CJ, play my favorite all-time Tower Power song that was co-written by this man as we say goodnight. Go ahead, bro.
So you wanna jump out your trick bag and ease on into hip bag, but you ain't just exactly sure what's hip. You started to let your hair go, spend big bucks to top your wardrobe, but somehow you know there's much more to the trip. What is hip? Tell me if you think you know. What is hip? If you're really hip, the past and the years will show you in a hip trip. Maybe hipper than hip. What is hip?
IRTS Live is brought to you by CDove HR Consulting Group, the human resources specialist, providing personalized service to building a better tomorrow. Enjoy the difference. Lifelong Medical Care, offering free vaccines for everyone 12 and over. Call Lifelong at 510-549-5454 or visit lifelongmedical.org. Check out gdovedesigns.com to get t-shirts and hoodies that make a statement. Join DJs Big Russ and CJ Flash for the world-famous show live Fridays noon to 4 Pacific. Catch them on the following social media platforms. And if you'd like to join us as a sponsor, please email us at info@irtsshow.com.